hymn that takes me back to my childhood and my Presbyterian roots. I almost feel like I don't need to preach a sermon. But you're going to get one anyway. I know most of you have heard this story, but I want to repeat it for you this morning. There is a story told of a man who lived in a town right on the edge of a mighty river. And one day, a warning went out from the town hall saying that a massive rainstorm was coming in and we expected the flood to come. And they urged everyone to evacuate their homes. The man, a good Christian man, went out on his front porch and watched as the rain started to come down. And just then some neighbors drove by in their car and they said, "Come with us. We've got room in our car." He said, "Oh no. God will save me. I don't need to go in your car." A little bit later, as the flood waters rose, he went in the house and sort of went up to the first floor, and a canoe came by with some folks in it, and they said, "Come with us, we've got room in our canoe." The man said, "Oh no. God will save me." A little bit later, the flood waters kept coming up, and he had to move up to the second floor. And then a motorboat came by, and again the people reached out and said, "Come with us, you can't stay here." The man said, "Oh yes I can. God will save me." Floodwaters continued to rise. The man climbed up onto his roof. By this time, it was almost impossible for anyone to rescue him, but a helicopter came by and lowered a ladder. And they said to him, "Come, climb up the ladder." The man looked up and said, "Oh no, I don't need you to save me. God will save me." Well, the man drowned. And he arrived at the pearly gates and he stood before God and he said to God, "Why didn't you save me?" God said, "Well, I sent your neighbors, I sent a canoe, I sent a motorboat, and finally I sent a helicopter, and you didn't take advantage of any of them." Some Greeks came to see Jesus, saying they wanted to see Jesus. They had heard about this miracle worker, this man who cured ills and said nice things to folks, and they wanted to see him. And so when the disciples went to tell Jesus that some Greeks were there to see him, he answered with the words, "This is what must happen. I must go and suffer and die. And whoever really wants to see me has to see that." They can't just see the good things. They can't buy just part of the package. See, I think often I'm like those Greeks. I want to see the things that I want to see. I'm like that man in the flood. If what comes to me in the form of Jesus is not what I expect, I reject it. I want to see those good things about Jesus. I want to see the smiling, forgiving Jesus. I want to see the Jesus who took children up in his arms, who reached out and cured the leper and those who could not walk. But God help me, I don't want to see the Jesus who said you must deny your mother and your father and follow me. I don't want to see the Jesus who went into the temple and cleaned it with a whip of cords. I don't want to see the Jesus who said, "Go and sell all that you have and come follow me." I want the Jesus that I want. I want the Jesus that I put in my little box. And when I pull him out, it's for my purposes, not for his. Jesus says to each one of us this morning, you must take the whole package. You can't just pick and choose those parts of me that you want. You take all of me, or you take none of me. We're getting very close to the end of our journey through Lent. Next week we will remember the Passion as well as the Palms. We need to reflect on both ends of that dimension. Both the glory of Christ and his agony and his suffering. Those easy parts and those hard parts. We need to take the whole package, or we don't take any of it. Amen.
Amen.